Apart from the women's models, I think the cheapest Rolex watch model available today is an Oyster Perpetual, and we're going to take a quick look at it. The Oyster case, the screw-down crown, a very high-quality bracelet, and of course a very successful automatic movement with chronometer-grade timekeeping that has made Rolex stand out in the past years. We're talking about a watch designed only to show the time, so no date window, no diver's bezel, no chronograph, no GMT. Its only job is to show the time accurately, but within the usual Rolex design lines. The Oyster Perpetual first appeared in 2015 in its closest form without a date window, Oyster Perpetual 39, which was presented to the market with many features trimmed and with dull color options. A boring dial and faded indices didn't feel like a Rolex in my opinion. And probably because this was reflected in sales, Rolex announced the end of the OP39 and the new watch was the Oyster Perpetual 41, which was announced in 2020, just 5 years after OP39. When you hear it like that, you might think that the case diameter has increased from 39mm to 41mm, but in fact we are talking about two watches with almost the same dimensions. I will explain this in a few minutes. In this new collection, along with the changed dial design, it was actually the more vibrant color options that attracted the most attention. Rolex had made an unexpected move with very vivid and unprecedented colors. The watch community was divided into two. Some people didn't think these colors suited Rolex's seriousness, but after only 3 years, I can easily say that at the point we have reached today, with these colored dials, Rolex actually managed to give a new direction to the watch world again. If we are seeing similar vibrant colors in the Tissot PRX, Citizen Tsuyosa or Seiko 5 sports models that we talk about on the channel today, I think the trend that Rolex started with the OP41 has a very serious impact on this, being Rolex is a bit like that. Anyway, enough chit-chat, let's move on to the tech specs. The case diameter is 41mm, lug-to-lug length is 47.35mm, and the thickness is 11.7mm. I mentioned 41mm as the diameter measurement here because Rolex announces it as 41mm on its own website. However, if you measure the diameter of the watch just below the crown, you actually get a value of 39.5mm. But when you measure diagonally, apart from the bezel, some of the sidelines of the case are also included in the calculation and 41mm is reached. So to make a long story short, these are the results that will probably please friends with small wrists too. If you remember, I explained a similar situation in the Datejust 41 model, which I reviewed on the channel before. The side surfaces and dome cut flat bezel are polished, while the top surfaces have brushed matte steel surfaces. It should be noted that unlike the standard steel, Rolex prefers its own 904L steel. At the 3 o'clock position, we encounter a screw-down crown, as in all Rolex models. Of course, the Rolex logo is also present on the crown. The caseback, as with many Rolex models, doesn't have many things to talk about. It is flat and designed to provide maximum comfort on the wrist. In order to prevent anyone from opening the caseback easily, a design with special serrations that you see on these edges has been applied. It is only possible to open and close it with a special tool that fits perfectly on these teeth. I would like to welcome you guys at the Watch Loop. Hi, my name is Erk and I'm just a watch geek like yourself. I'm not a watch dealer, nor a professional YouTuber who's trying to sell you something. And no, this video is not sponsored by Squarespace and definitely not sponsored by Skillshare or whatever. Just me and you. This is a brand new channel, and if you have ever needed a watch loop to review some decent watch, this is it. You may now consider subscribing to the Watch Loop channel. Anyway, let's move on to the video. Under the caseback, we find Rolex's latest generation 3230 automatic caliber. This is actually the date-removed version of the 3235 caliber used in the Submariner and Datejust models. It is a very successful machine that manages to deliver 70 hours of power reserve at 28,800 beats per hour. Manual winding and hacking features are of course also available, and it works with a tolerance of plus or minus 2 seconds of deviation error per day. It is Cox certified, meaning that it is a chronometer grade timepiece, and this maximum 2 seconds deviation value is guaranteed by Rolex after the movement is assembled into the case, which is also tested and certified by Rolex. According to Rolex's own statement, it is a movement that should be serviced every 10 years. Before moving on to the front, let's talk about the bracelet. Just like the case, there is a very successful bracelet with brushed matte upper surfaces and glossy polished side surfaces, consisting of 3 pieces of links that Rolex introduced into the literature as Oyster type. It starts with a width of 21 mm at the connection to the case and tapers down to 17.5 mm at the clasp. I think this look adds a serious elegance to the design. The clasp is very successful and it has this clever device inside that allows you to easily extend and shorten it by 5 mm by folding and unfolding on itself. When it comes to watch bracelets, I've worn a lot of different watches, but I still haven't come across a brand that does it better than Rolex. With the right weight, with the right craftsmanship, this bracelet manages to offer the right comfort and quality feeling together. When we come to the front face, some sapphire glass welcomes us. Rolex, which did not use an anti-reflective coating on its watches for many years, has changed this attitude in recent years, and I can easily say that this watch also uses a sincere anti-reflective coating. We talked about the vivid colors at the beginning, but this watch is the black one. As always, black is the best choice for everyday wear. Unlike the black Submariner dial, this black dial has a deep sunburst effect. This beam-shaped craftsmanship extends from the center outwards, allowing the dial to present different looks in the light. Since there is no date window, I think the first word that comes to mind as soon as you look at the watch is symmetry. I think it looks clean, simple, and at the same time peaceful to watch. The indices on the dial, the crown symbol, and the hands are all made of white gold. It's not stainless steel, it's gold, and it shines in the light a little bit better than stainless steel. The indices are filled with luminova that glows blue in the dark, and although it is not a diver's watch, I can say that it seriously surprised me by continuing to glow for a very long time. The fact that the indices 3, 6, 9 are double, and the preference for 2 lines of text above and below the dial are all details that revive the sense of symmetry I first mentioned. Symmetry is actually a dangerous choice. It is also likely to cause a boring look. I had that feeling on the 2015 OP39 dial, but I think there is a sense of quality that comes from simplicity in this watch. I would like to know your opinions on this subject too. Do you think this design is boring, or do you think Rolex has created a watch that you can't get enough of looking at? Now let's talk about the price of the watch. I have been saying the cheapest Rolex model since the beginning, but of course it is cheap for Rolex standards. As of August 2024, we are talking about a retail price of 6,550 euros. This watch, which can be bought under 5,000 euros when it was first introduced, will thus have increased in value by around 30% in the past 3 years. So does this watch deserve these prices? I think it does, because it has everything you expect from a Rolex watch, everything that makes a Rolex a Rolex. Oyster case, a great bracelet, a great movement, a high quality feel, and perhaps most important of all, the advantage of maintaining and even increasing its value for years to come, thanks to its brand value. For those who are looking for a watch that doesn't attract too much attention, that doesn't scream, "I'm wearing a Rolex on my wrist," and who are looking for a watch with Rolex genes, I think this watch can be a very logical choice if they can afford it. As usual, I will see you soon on the next one. And until I see you in the next video, if you haven't watched it yet, I strongly recommend you to watch the video I have put on the screen right now.